What's good? What's good? What's going on, The Wire? What's going on, everybody? Anyway, this is your boy, man. I was just stopping in the boxing know-it-all. I was watching your video, and I thought I was like, wow, he's not gonna make a prediction on this one. That's kind of wild. But nonetheless, I can understand how that goes sometimes. But sometimes we as true quote-unquote boxing fans, we tend to analyze the situation to such a degree to where we complicate it for like the average casual boxing fan. Like with this fight, whereas you break down the strengths, you break down the weaknesses, you break down, the activity and the adaptability in certain fights, and then you try and match that up against the same criteria for the next opponent. Sometimes it can get a bit frustrating, sort of like doing quantum physics, and all you have is just like a Tycho calculator. It's not going to happen too good for you. You're going to have to do everything, all the detailed math on paper. So, but as far as in Andre Berto and Robert Guerrero is concerned, in my eyes, it's not going to be rocket science. It's not going to be chemistry, you know what I'm saying, anything of that nature. I feel as if Guerrero actually is bitten off more than he can chew. Granted, Guerrero is a good fighter. Granted, Guerrero has a good heart. He has a good storyline and all that good stuff. But it's the same thing that I said about Lopez when he fought Canelo Alvarez. I mean, he had a great storyline. Great storylines are good. They feed on the sympathy of other individuals that are watching, and they make those people, grant a false hope to the individuals. Me, myself, I said that he had absolutely no chance. He was going to get killed, and that's exactly what happened to him when they got beat to death. And now, you turn around and you take Robert Guerrero. Everybody's looking at the Robert Guerrero storyline. They're looking at the fact that his wife went through the cancer thing, him having to do what he had to do with the kids, and still box at the same time, still train at the same time. Everybody's looking at him waiting on this wonder match with Mayweather that I know is never going to happen. But the world's watching and they're hoping, so they're feeding behind his storyline. Well, when it comes down to Robert Guerrero moving up to welterweight to chase that dream of fighting Floyd Mayweather, I see him as still, to me, like I said, without me overanalyzing the situation nor thinking with any type of emotion, just me on the outside looking in and me being a true boxing fanatic. There's no need for a constant overanalyzing of it. Robert Guerrero's bitten off more than he can chew. Granted, he can box, right? Granted, he can box. But he has the Manny Pacquiao syndrome. He has the Ricky Hatton syndrome. He has all the syndromes of brawlers. Granted, he can box. If you hit me, I'm going to hit you back. I'm going to go outside of my game plan to hit you back. And that's what's going to be his downfall. When he gets hit, he's going to lose plan A. His adaptability will no longer be there because he's trying to prove something. He's saying, if I can knock out Andre Berto, the crowd, the masses, the people, the media, everybody's going to push for this fight with me and Mayweather. So he's going to go out there feeling like he has extreme amount of pressure on him, an extreme amount of pressure on him, and he's going to actually try to knock Andre Berto out, which will be his downfall. He's not going to box from the outside like he should. He hasn't really faced a person, be brutally honest with you, with the explosiveness. And when we say explosiveness, people, you have to really realize that's not just coming out fast. That's not what explosiveness is in boxing. Explosiveness in boxing is you're fighting an individual, and say you're in your stance, he's in his stance or whatever, and say for instance, as soon as the physical part of the confrontation takes place, this person is able to run off shots. I'm talking about in succession. Actual shots, scoring shots, jabs, power punches, everything in a combination of 4, 5, 6 shots, all with power. I'm talking about before you can throw 1 or 2 punches, they hit you with 5 or 6 punches, right? This this is the kind of knockout explosiveness that Andre Berto has. I see Berto running through Robert Guerrero with no problem. Granted, he'll be able to hit Berto because Berto's defense is still the weakest link in his chain. And that's typically all it takes, is to have a weak defense for you to be a subpar fighter. That nullifies all kinds of offense. It nullifies every other strength you have. You know, even heart, if your defense is sorry, because you're not going to be around for the rest of the fight. I don't think Robert Guerrero is going to actually take the time out to wear down Andre Berto. He's not going to fight over a period of rounds to do so. He's going to come out, he's going to dance around for the first round. I think he's going to do a little bit of boxing, but not a major amount of boxing. He wants to trade because he's trying to be fan-friendly. That's going to be his downfall. The fans want to see you engaged. The fans want to see you fight toe-to-toe. They want to see the blood and guts. And he's willing to give them that. But they're not in there, and it's all about the W at the end. Guerrero is going to get hit often. He's going to get hit hard. He's going to bruise easy. And he's going to see the canvas a lot. I don't see Guerrero seeing the 7th round. You know, granted, if it makes it into the championship rounds, I've seen Berto get a little winded, right? And he hasn't fought in a good minute, so it's possible that it could happen to him. However, I don't see it happening. I don't even see it making it to the championship rounds. I think Andre Berto's power is going to be too much. I think his speed is going to be something that Robert Guerrero is truly underestimating. Berto is a very fast fighter, and he can hit you 2 and 3 times with the same hand, with power and ferocity. And if you get hurt, he's out to kill you. I don't see Robert Guerrero faring too well in this fight. He's going to box decent until he gets hit, and he's going to resort to brawling and trading like he was trying to do with Aiden. And luckily for him, that Aiden wasn't the type of killer, type of puncher. But trust me, Berto's going to knock him out, and his dreams of fighting Floyd are going to go down the drain. And just mark my word and watch what I tell you. This is not going to be a Cinderella story. It's going to be a brutal thing. Watch. As far as the Ricky Hatton and Sinchenko fight comes up, I got to see that. It's going to come on. I guess I'll just go ahead and make this a video now. It was just a replying video, but I'll just make it a video now nonetheless. I don't see Sinchenko really being able to keep Ricky Hatton outside, which is where he needs Ricky Hatton. Me personally, I really was saying that Ricky Hatton was going to get his ass whooped, you know, coming off of such a long layoff and fighting with coming off cocaine usage and, you know, all the negative stuff that's been written and said about him. But I just don't really see him having too much of an issue. If he's in any kind of decent shape, if he has any kind of good cardio about himself, then I see him being able to get inside because, granted, if Malinazzi was able to outbox this guy, and Malinazzi is feather-fisted. I mean, he's a good boxer, but he's feather-fisted. If he was able to outbox this guy from the outside, and you couldn't keep Malinazzi off of him, he's definitely not going to keep a pressure fighter off of him, especially one that gets inside and does the banging. I just don't like all the grappling and holding that Ricky Hatton does, but his style is his style. That's him, you know what I'm saying? And you can't change his style, so that's him. I just see, if he gets inside, I think he has a good chance of doing very serious body damage and possibly stopping Sinchenko. I think that's how you pronounce his name, however you say his name. But if he could keep Ricky Hatton outside, I could see him punishing Ricky Hatton, closing his eyes, beat him down. But for the most part, now that I've watched them both in training, I don't think that he's going to actually stand out there and keep Ricky outside. Ricky claims he's changed his game plan up and that he's going to box a bit more from the outside, but he doesn't have to reach to box outside. So that sounds good. The media can eat it up all they want to, but he doesn't have to reach the box from the outside. So he's going to resort back to what he knows, that's going on the inside, and even taking punishment getting there. And that's what he's going to do. But I don't think the guy hits hard enough to actually slow Ricky down from coming inside. Once Ricky learns that outside boxing is not going to help him in this fight, and that the inside game is what he's going to have to resort back to, as long as he moves his head a little bit, he should fare okay. And if he gets inside, I see him doing a lot of damage. But what's his cardio going to be like? what's his cardio going to be like? If it goes past 6 rounds, it's over with for Ricky Hatton. If it goes past 6 rounds, it's over with for Ricky Hatton. So I'm picking Ricky Hatton actually by stoppage prior to the 6th round. Anything after the 6th round is going to Sinchenko. And that's just how I see it. So, and one other thing before I get off of here. It's amazing to me how people actually tend to dislike a person because of their character. Just who they are as a person. If you like to laugh and joke, you do that. You laugh and joke. That's a part of life. It's a part of who you are. That's your uniqueness. That's what separates you from everyone else. People are disliking Adrian Broner because he laughs and he jokes and he has fun with life, and he doesn't try and fit in with what society says is correct and the perfect way to be. Life isn't about being perfect. None of us are perfect. We're all just human. They're disliking this guy, but any true boxing fan, a real boxing fan, not a casual one, a real one, you cannot deny the skill set of this young man. The guy's a wonder, and he's just 23. You cannot deny the skill set of this guy. All of a sudden now, they're trying to downplay DeMarco. When you have boxing channels on here that pick DeMarco by knockout over Adrian Broner. DeMarco was ranked number 1 in the lightweight division, number 1, and he was the champion. It's not Broner's fault because DeMarco had no adaptability, no plan B, C, or D. All he had was a plan A. Plan A didn't work, his whole game plan fell apart, and his whole match fell apart. You have to give Broner his props because this dude is actually talented. Very, very talented. He's talented. That's all I can say about that. Nonetheless, anyway, feel free to get at me. Everybody have a blessed weekend. Stay safe. And let's watch this boxing that's coming on tonight. Peace.